guys, this is Sam
and Justin
at the Survival Review, and today we're going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, a movie that
a strange movie.
It's weird, and definitely has mixed opinions about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But both of us,
I've heard people call this like the worst Chainsaw movie, and in my opinion, it's the best sequel.
Yes,
but we'll explain more in the sequels near the end. Talk about those more. It's the only really connected to. It's the only sequel that's really connected to the first one, because all the other sequels are their own direct sequel to the original.
Yeah.
So there's no real continuity.
There's never been a sequel that ties in with 2.
Yeah, or a sequel that ties in with 3.
Exactly.
So like it's all different, and this one ties in the most with the first movie. It focuses on the same family, because in the sequels, for some reason, like Leatherface is still there, but he's with a different family.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It's the same director, Tobe Hooper, so you say it's going to be like the same as the original, right?
Not
at all.
At all.
The original is this dark, gritty, uncomfortable movie that is mostly like shock. It's mostly scary because of like the fact that it's so gritty. It's not gory or anything. The second one is a more polished, over-the-top, gory...
Way over-the-top.
Comedy, pretty much.
It's a comedy.
It is.
I have trouble putting this in the horror genre.
There's a few, like, creepy moments, but it's mostly comedic.
It's funny.
And you know what? It works.
It really, really does.
And you think it is one, like, you think you should hate it, because it takes the original movie, which is, like, this gritty movie, and turns into, like, a comedy.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like, I don't know why, but I feel that works. Like, as you can tell from the other video, I love the original Chainsaw. But it's just like, the way the director put it is that he couldn't really match the original. So he kind of just went in this whole different direction. And for that, for some reason, I like it. Yeah.
It worked, in our opinion.
You just gotta know what to expect going in. You can't go in Texas Chainsaw Massacre expecting it to be
expecting it to be a great horror sequel. You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, you're not going to like it at all. But if you know what it is, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
And we definitely did, both of us.
Oh, for sure.
And so I guess let's talk about the plot. Do you want to talk about it, or should I?
You can do it.
All right. I'm assuming you haven't watched it in a while.
A little bit.
Well, it starts out... I don't know if this was the first scene, but it's sort of toward the beginning. There are these two guys. This is one of the opening things. There are these two guys driving down the street, kind of on a road trip. You can tell they're drunk, and they're a couple of idiots. And they're listening to the radio, and it's sort of cutting back and forth between these two guys and this radio station. And they keep calling into this radio station just kind of to prank them, or just like, be jerks.
Yeah, just saying stuff and just...
And they're annoying, and they're annoying the people at the radio station. And... It's kind of sort of... It goes back to the people at the radio station for a bit. These two guys call back again, and a guy that they tried to play chicken with earlier on, this car comes back for them, and is now following them right beside them, and...
Pretty much, yeah, almost like a chase.
Exactly, it's a car chase sort of thing, and boom, right toward the beginning of the movie, up pops Leatherface. And
kills both of them, and it's all... like on tape, because they had the phone out.
Exactly.
So it's all on tape in the radio station.
All the audio is on the tape in the radio station, so they have all that.
So then we cut to this like sheriff, played by Dennis Hopper. And he's like his nephew, and he's like the two main was like the main girl in the original Chainsaw, and like her brother and stuff like that. They were his like niece and nephew. So he's been on the search for this family of killers for all this long time, and he finds out about the tape and goes to meet the radio DJ. So there's that story, and then in the process, the family, the Sawyer family, and they find out about the tape too, and they want to.
And they want the tape.
So they try to go to the radio DJ,
and this is when you meet
chaos ensues, and
that's the basic gist. There's one character.
So, like, well, before this, like, the family in the original movie, there was the hitchhiker, the cook, and Leatherface.
No.
The hitchhiker, for reasons, is not in this one. and
he's somewhat replaced by
the character's brother, Chop Top,
who is amazing. He's just phenomenal.
Oh my god!
I will never get over how much I love this character.
When you first see him, you're so into what's going on. This character is like, he's funny. He's at first really creepy, and that scene is actually pretty suspenseful at the beginning.
It is,
because you don't know what the guy's gonna do. Because you just don't.
It's kind of reminiscent of the scene in the van of the first movie. Just wondering what he's going to do, because you know he's completely.
It's a little more comedic flair.
Yeah, it's definitely got more of a comedic flair to it, and just he's got this personality. That's
he's this crazy guy who has a plate in his skull.
Plate in his skull that he's always scratching.
He keeps picking the flesh off it, the skin off of it.
Exactly, with a coat hanger that he heats up with a lighter. It's just awesome.
Yes. And the rest of the family, you got Leatherface, who's different in this one, and that just kind of distracted me a little bit because he feels very different. I mean, it's a different actor, but he feels different. I mean, also the writing for this character is different because he falls in love with the radio DJ.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
Yeah, and then you have the one returning actor, which is the cook, and he's awesome.
He's
at the
great.
beginning when he wins the chili contest.
Yeah.
What's in that? Oh, that's my secret ingredient. Somebody finds like a tooth in it.
It's just so. It's fantastic. Just
so awesome.
Everything about it. It's somewhat of a parody of the first movie in a way.
Also, doesn't help that the poster for the movie is a parody of the Breakfast Club poster,
which I love too.
It itself is just awesome. Can't go wrong with that.
Everything about it is just.
The effects are done by Tom Savini.
Really?
Yes. He does all the special effects. He's best known for Dawn of the Dead.
More of his great work.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of cool effects in this movie. There's one at the beginning when he gets his head like sawed in half and the blood squirting out. Or even one scene I was actually asked a little bit of the horror moments where not horror, it's really another uncomfortable moments.
Yeah.
Where they put the face of this one guy onto the main girl because the other face is trying to hide her. So he cuts off the face of this other character and he puts it on her, and it's so uncomfortable.
It is, but. And all of it works for this movie because it's so over the top. It's hard to compare to the first one.
So what we're getting at with the performances, all the performances are awesome. Like Bill Moseley steals the show; he's amazing. The cook, awesome. The radio DJ, Stretch, she's good. She's good. And then you have Dennis Hopper, who's this like Academy Award actor. Who was in great films like Apocalypse Now and Easy Rider, and here he is running around with two chainsaws, fighting Leatherface in a chainsaw fight at the end.
It's everything it sounds like, and it's just that awesome.
Except it's the complete opposite of the original, but it works.
It works for us.
Yes.
We will definitely say it's not for everyone.
Oh yeah, both Chainsaw 1 and 2.
Chainsaw 2 is not necessarily a movie for everyone that's whether you're into horror or not, but even if you're a fan of the first movie, you're not necessarily going to like the second one.
It's a totally different thing, but I do like how it has it has decent continuity with the first movie.
Yeah.
So even though like it's bigger and like instead of like the little farmhouse they have, the Sawyer family, instead of this big huge crazy thing, it still has a little bit of continuity, so I like that connection. But it's also its own thing. Mm-hmm. So it's in my opinion, it's the closest to the original, even though it's totally different. All the other sequels were more grittier and horror. This one I like better because it connects more, and that's what I like about it. That's one of the things I like about it.
Yeah,
just connects more. And it's cool to watch these two movies back to back, even though they're different.
They're so different, yet they connect to each other.
Yes, confusing, but all right.
And
out of 10.
Out of 10. That's a tough one for me. As far as horror movie goes, I'd give it like an 8.5. I'd say I really do enjoy this movie. It's not necessarily one of the greatest movies ever made by any means, but for what it is, I definitely really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll go 8.5 too. Because it's no masterpiece, but
no,
it's definitely an extremely enjoyable movie. But we're not doing the rest of the Chainsaw movies.
We're not.
Because I only care about the first two because the only two that really connect.
Same here.
And I don't know a little explanation of what happens after. And after this, there was Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which is the only other Chainsaw movie I've seen besides the first two.
Same.
And it doesn't connect to 2, but it's not even really a direct sequel to 1 at all. It's like totally its own thing because Leatherface is with a totally different family. And as a horror movie, I own it, but I haven't watched it in like many years.
I just watched it this last week, and
it's as in that horror movie, it's okay.
Yeah,
but it's
nothing special.
Nothing special. Ken Foree's in it.
Yeah,
awesome.
he's awesome, and that's really the only thing.
Yeah,
I can
if you
say
want,
that I truly.
If you want
really
like a late night horror movie, it's serviceable. But besides that, it doesn't really add anything, and it doesn't really connect to the first two, so I don't really care. Then there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which I didn't see mostly because I've heard it's awful. I've heard it's the Batman and Robin of the series.
Yeah.
And if any of you know about that, you know it sounds terrible. So again, continuity-wise, it doesn't connect to 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, except it's more like because it seems like a different family from what I've seen of it. So that's the essential series. And then they remade it. They remade it, which 2003.
I have seen most of the remake. It's not bad.
I've heard good things.
I honestly, I enjoyed it, but it'll never compare to the original for me.
It's not a movie that I don't refuse to watch it. I just never got around to it, and I don't really care to, so I might never get around to it. But I have no problem with it. I
got around to watching it a while back, and it was enjoyable for what it was. But
I've heard it's one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's not a bad movie. I'll go so far to say that.
And then they did a prequel to that one called Beginning, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, and that I don't know. I've heard it sucked. I think whatever. And then recently, as in January, they released this Chainsaw 3D, which is a direct sequel to the original, and you could actually
another one.
Yeah, you can actually call it that too, compared to 3 and 4, which weren't, and. I've heard it's awful. It's actually the same thing like the remake. I just never got around to seeing it. I might eventually, but it doesn't seem to interest me too much because I already have my direct sequel to the original, and that's Chainsaw 2. And on one more Chainsaw related note, there was a film that I hope ever gets completed. It was a low budget movie. It was called All American Massacre. And it starred Bill Moseley as Chop Top.
Really?
And it was directed by Tobe Hooper's son. And I don't know if they never finished filming it, or if it got finished but they didn't have enough money to complete it. But that was it was a short film they were working on. It was like Chop Top survived Chainsaw 2, and he's like in prison, and he's like telling his backstory, and there's all this stuff. It just sounds cool because it has more Chop Top. That
really does sound interesting.
I don't know if it's not finished or if they just. If they finish shooting it, I just know they haven't had enough money to finish funding it. So that may probably never see the light of day, but I really hope it does, because I would like to.
Cool. I had no idea about that.
I would like to get that on DVD and set it next to Chainsaw 1 and 2, because it seems like it would be nice there.
Definitely.
And so that's all the Chainsaw movies.
Yeah, that's
summed up for you guys right there. Definitely check out 1. It's must see.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are.
And then check out 2. You have to
check out 2.
Just remember what to expect.
Yeah, remember what to expect from them, and hopefully you'll enjoy them as much as we do.
Yes.
And that's about all we got to say, and we'll see you guys next time.